Hello, I'm in the Lincolnshire Wolds on a two-part investigation into the many little-known legends of this remote and beautiful area. In this part of my journey, I'll be investigating the many stories of strange animal apparitions that are so prevalent here in the Eastern Wolds. Not too pleasant underfoot. We had a lot of snow recently. It's thawed, and as you can see, everything's very muddy. As you can see, there's still light patches of snow in the fields. Now, back in the mid-1990s, this is where one of the first sightings of the infamous Wolds panther took place. Now, a chap doing a spot of night fishing saw a huge cat jump this gate and drink from the pond. He said the cat was at least the size of a Labrador dog. Now, the incident made the local papers and it was taken with a pinch of salt. That was until more sightings of the big cat were reported in the area over some 10 years or more. Now, I know for a fact that the Wolds panther did exist. My family live around here. They've seen it. I myself saw it once, but I'll tell you more about that later. Over there is the village of Swaby, and that's where we're heading next. Now, this is Paddow Lane in the village of Swaby. Now, in the early part of the last century, this manor house was known for a series of tragedies. One occupant was found drowned in a shallow fish pond nearby Burwell. Another was found hanged. Now, around the same time, Paddow Lane was said to be haunted by a black dog. Now, the black dog is one of the most common rural phantoms in Lincolnshire. There are over 75 accounts of them, to my knowledge. Now, in the early 1980s, a local woman described her encounter with the black dog on Paddow Lane. It had happened when she'd been a young girl. She walked past the manor house when the dog appeared, and I quote, "It followed me all the way to the beck, and then it disappeared." Terrified, she fled to a neighbour's house and she had to be walked home. Now, thinking back, the woman got the impression that everyone knew about the haunting, but nobody liked to talk about it. If Paddow Lane wasn't haunted enough, it's said to be haunted by another, less tangible apparition. An invisible presence was said to follow people in the lane at certain times. One witness described it like heavy breathing and the shuffling of many feet, as if there were 2 or 3 things all shuffling about at once. Another said it was like being surrounded by the stomping hooves of invisible cattle. Now, this is where my sister had a sighting of the Wolds panther. She was walking the dog when she saw the cat down this embankment. She said it was big, at least as big, if not bigger, than our collie dog. It was black, but she said she could see flecks of grey or white. Now, let's go and have a closer look. Try not to break my neck. Now, never once did it look in her direction. It skulked along here and disappeared into the undergrowth. Now, unfortunately for her, she saw the cat on April Fool's Day. Now, when she told me, I took it with a pinch of salt. Frankly, I didn't really believe her until I had my own sighting about a year later. Well, now I've reached the end of my journey. I've walked for miles today. It's dark now, as you can see, but before I go, I'll just show you where I had my encounter with the Wolds panther. It was on the driveway here at my parents' place. Now I turned to the right of me, and just over there I could see two glowing balls of light. Now, I didn't realise what they were at first until they blinked, and I suddenly realised they were the eyes of a very large animal that had been caught in the security lights. Now, it was then I did something very stupid. I ran towards it to get a better look. Fortunately for me, it turned tail and ran, but I just managed to get a glimpse of it before it disappeared into the hedgerow. Now, sightings of the panther began, as I said earlier, in around the early 1990s, and it was seen up until the mid-2000s. Now, to my knowledge, it hasn't been seen for a good 5 years. Now, given the age of it, it surely must be dead by now. I did hear one theory that it was an illegal pet owned by somebody who was living in a nearby town, and it had either escaped or been purposely set free. But like I say, that's the end of my journey, and I hope you'll join me in part 2. I hope to do that sometime in the summer months, when it's much more pleasant to go walking around in the countryside. I hope you'll join me on that. Wait a minute. What's that over there?